Hello! Já se jmenuji Broňa a jsem nadšený učitel angličtiny z Brna a vítám vás na svém dalším videu. To je video velmi netradiční a trošku zvláštní. Hodně z vás mi psalo, že máte problém reagovat na to, když vás někdo osloví, když rychle uslyšíte otázku a najednou ho nevíte, co říct a jak to nejlíp můžete trénovat. No a moje odpověď logicky byla, že nejlépe to natrénujete tak, že to budete přímo trénovat, že si to tady vyzkoušíte. Na to jste mi ale logicky odpovídali, že jak to máte zkoušet, když na vás nikdo nemluví a ty otázky neznáte. A tohle je obzvláště užitečné v první části státní maturity, kde vy vlastně dostanete 5 otázek, které dopředu neznáte a musíte na ně rychle a hezky odpovědět. A tak, abych vám s tím pomohl, tak jsem se rozhodl natočit tohle video, kde vám postupně položím zhruba 200 různých otázek, takových každodenních a také typických pro maturitu. A vy ideálně, pokud si to chcete natrénovat a je to něco, co máte pocit, že by se vám mohlo hodit, tak po každé otázce si to vždycky pauzněte a zkuste si sami ideálně nahlas odpovědět. Pokud trénujete na maturitu, tak by ta otázka, teda ta odpověď vaše, měla trvat asi 20 sekund, to je zhruba tak doporučená doba. To znamená, že 200 x 20 sekund máte spoustu času k trénování, když budete chtít. A samozřejmě to nemusíte dělat celé naráz. A pokud tohle není něco, co vás zajímá, tak se vám moc omlouvám a klidně to video můžete vypnout. Ale věřím, že to může být užitečné pro nás, pro všechny. Tak pojďme na to. What's the worst film you have ever seen? What is the best book you have ever read? What's the most dangerous sport you have ever tried? What's the most unusual thing you have ever eaten? What's the most beautiful place you have ever been to? What's the most boring book you have ever read? Zatím vám to jde skvěle, gratuluju. Vím, že to není úplně lehké mluvit si sám pro sebe, ale zvládáte to dobře. What's the best film you have ever seen? What's the most disgusting, terrible drink you have ever drunk? What's the scariest experience of your life? What's the most interesting sport you have ever tried? What's the best quality of your mom? Who do you most enjoy spending time with? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? Where would you like to live in the future? What's your greatest fear? What is your favorite possession? What do you like doing at the weekends? Are you an optimist or a pessimist? What's your earliest memory? Jde vám to skvěle. Jestli jste vydrželi až sem, tak gratuluji. Máte určitě pevnou vůli. What's your favorite way to travel? What is the most interesting thing about your family? How different would be your life without the internet? If you could meet one famous person, who would you choose and why? How long have you been studying English? If you could take up a new sport activity, what would it be and why? What kind of television programs do you watch? How much time do you spend on leisure compared to work or studying? What are you most looking forward to in the next few months? How do you think you might use your English in the future? How far ahead in the future do you usually plan? What sort of holidays do you prefer? Where in the world you would like to most visit? It's a little bit strange question. Do you prefer traveling alone or with other people? What skills do you need for the job that you plan to do in the future? Where did you go and what did you do on your last holiday? Do you still remember your first day at school? What was the happiest day of your life? What is the funniest thing that has ever happened to you? Who is your favorite person in history and why? What is the strangest thing you have ever seen? Well, this is a good question. What is the best way to learn English quickly? How can you learn to invest money? What is your idea of perfect holiday? How would you describe a typical person from your country? What can you do to lose weight? Okay. In what ways does your generation differ from your parents' generation? What do you hope to achieve in the next 10 years? What is the best place for holiday in your country? Do you believe that love is blind? What does happiness mean to you? What sort of mistake do you sometimes make when you speak English? What is the best and the worst thing about being a man or a woman? Would you like to be a celebrity? Okay, we go to the next list. Who is the most important person in the history of your country and why? What 3 pieces of advice would you give to a friend who is about to get married? What is the most enjoyable family occasion, like wedding or birthday party, you can remember, and what made it so special? Can you name 3 things that make you sad? And more positive, can you name 3 things that make you happy? What 3 adjectives would you describe your best friend with? Which 3 pieces of advice would you give to a foreigner wishing to live and work in your country? Vidíte, že nám ve škole zvoní, nás to nezastaví a budeme pokračovat. Já teď zkusím trošku přidat, aby jsme se i natrénovali to, když někdy je trošku hluk, ten budeme mít z chodby, a když někdy ten zkoušející nebo člověk, co na vás mluví, tak mluví rychle, například když vás osloví v hospodě nebo na ulici. If you want a lot of money, in what ways would it change your present life and in what ways it wouldn't? How would you describe your perfect partner? What is the best present you have ever received? And what is the best present you have ever given to somebody? What do you consider to be the most important thing in upbringing of children? If you weren't here doing this exercise with me, where would you like to be and why? If you could change only one thing in history, what would it be and why? How would you describe your perfect weekend? What is the most important invention in the last 100 years and what makes it so important? What are the best things about your country and the worst things? Have you ever eaten anything strange or unusual? Have you ever fallen asleep at a party? Have you ever acted on stage? Have you ever written a poem? Have you ever gone to a fancy dress party? Have you ever failed a course or an important test? Have you ever done volunteer work? Have you ever lost your documents? Have you ever made a major change in your life? Have you ever won anything in a contest or a raffle? Have you ever been robbed or mugged? How often do you go to the dentist? How much water do you drink every day? How much time do you spend on the internet? How often do you go to the doctor? How many TV sets are there in your house? What is your favorite shop and why? Important question. How often do you study English and are you happy about it? How many pets do you have? How far is your house from your school or work? How many books do you have at home and which one is your favorite? How long have you been living in your current house or flat? How much coffee do you drink a day? How many rooms does your house or flat have? How old is your best friend? What is the biggest success you have ever had? What is the strangest thing you have ever seen? What is the most interesting place you have ever visited? Jestli jste to dosledovali až sem, tak vám hrozně moc děkuji za přízeň a věřte, že už teď jste udělali hodně pro svou angličtinu. Já se pokusím opět trošičku zrychlit, aby jsme si natrénovali i ty situace, kdy někdo na vás něco pěrkne. Nebude to příšerně rychle, ale trošku rychlejší. Have you ever met a famous person? What is the most important thing that life has learned you? What has changed since you were 12? Have you always wanted to do? What have you always wanted to do but haven't done it yet? Have you ever had a dream that came true? What is the best present you have ever received? What are you most proud of? What are you going to do between now and the time you go to bed? Are you going to do anything special at this weekend? Are you thinking about changing anything in your future? Is there anything you would like to do, but you don't have time or money to do so? Where do you hope to go for your next holiday, and have you ever been there before? What is on your to-do list right now? Which countries do you hope to visit in the future, and why? What are you doing to improve your English? That's a good question. By the way, you're just watching this video, so you're doing a lot. Are you planning to have your own business one day? If so, what kind? You have been invited to give a talk at TED conference. What are you going to talk about? You have decided to make a list of good intentions for the future. What are you going to put on the list? Where did you grow up and what was it like there? What's your favorite childhood memory? What used to be your favorite toy? Were you a good student at a primary school? What used to be your favorite subject there? This one is good. What complaints did your mother used to have about you, or still has? What did you used to love doing when you were about 5 years old? Who was your first date and how did it go? Did you used to have curfew? Means zaracha. Okay. What is your favorite place to be alone? What used to be your biggest problem when you were a little child? What used to be your biggest dream when you were a little child? What's the last phone number you dialed? Like vytočil. What did you have for breakfast this morning? How long did it take you to fall asleep last night? What was your last conversation in English about? What used to make you embarrassed as a teenager? How did you celebrate your 10th birthday? Where were you when you saw snow for the first time? What was your favorite TV program when you were a child? Oh, this is interesting. Who would you invite for your last dinner? What is an ideal or dream job for you? How often do you drink champagne? What do you like and don't like about people in the Czech Republic? What was the longest party you've ever been to? What is your favorite food? I love eating. What is the best film you have ever seen? What was this year's best Christmas present? We are very close to the end. Děkuji vám, že jste vydrželi až sem. můžete se poplácat po ramenou. What is your favorite season of the year? Which country can you imagine living instead of the Czech Republic? What is your happy childhood memory? What do you like and don't like about learning English? What do you prefer, sunset or sunrise? What 3 things would you take to a deserted island with you? Desert island with you. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? What roles do pets play in your family? What are some recent moments of happiness in your life? Are you hard or easy on yourself? Have you ever lost or found something valuable? Do you write in your books? Are you saver or spender? How often do you feel, are you looking forward to this summer? Are you a good driver? Do you get enough sleep? And a very good question, would you like to be a teacher? Okay. And we still continue. What would you do if you were the president? Do you have a hard time making decisions? Should rich people pay more taxes? How did you learn about sex? Are you an introvert or extrovert? Do you read e-books? What is the best advice you have ever got? What is your role in your family? What 5 people, what 5 living people should be on the post stamps? How impulsive are you? How much do you gossip? What is on your playlist? How much time do you spend in the nature? Have you ever experienced severe weather? Do you like horror movies? If a visitor from another country came to stay with you, what would be the first place you would take the person to, and why? Where do you go out with your friends? Have you ever tried to play a music instrument, and did you do well? And we are very close to the end now. The last list in my PDF file, it's called list K. Do you prefer spending time on your own or with other people? Do you like cooking? What's your favorite food? Do you like going to parties? Is there something new you would really like to learn? Are you happier doing mental or physical work? Who do you spend your free time with? How much time do you spend at home? Does anyone you know have an interesting hobby? What is the most interesting place you have ever visited? Do you like to plan your holidays carefully, or do you prefer just going? How much do you watch TV in a week? What do you use the internet for? What makes a good friend? Who has the greatest influence on your life? Which teacher will you always remember? And we have the last question. Congratulations! When do you prefer to work or study? In the morning, afternoon, or in the evening? Moc krát vám děkuji, pokud se to dosledovala již sem. Velice si budu vážit vašich případných komentářů, či sdílení tohoto videa, či vašich námětů, co bych mohla točit příště. Ne, vaše přání je mi rozkazem a šťastní studenti nedělají opravdu šťastný. A mimochodem, pod videem najdete buď přímo soubor, ze kterého jsem četl ty otázky, nebo tam bude aspoň odkaz, kde ten soubor můžete stáhnout. Tak kdybyste některým otázkám nerozuměli, nebo vám vrtalo hlavou, co to vlastně čtu, tak si ty všechny otázky můžete ještě jednou v klidu projít. Pokud se chystáte k maturitě nebo nějaké důležité zkoušce, tak vám držím palce, nebo jak říkají Angličani, I will keep my fingers crossed for you. Bye bye!